know how to behave when we are in this auditorium. We sit up, we sit straight, because we don't just listen with our ears, we listen with our bodies. Our posture shows that we are paying attention and that we are showing respect to the individuals who will be speaking on this stage today. So, welcome to the Southside Middle School celebration of the life, work, and memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Before we get started, a couple of thank yous. A big thank you to the Social Studies Department for putting together the rich Martin Luther King extra credit assignment that many of you completed. Thank you, Mrs. Radigan, Mr. Gazzo, Mrs. Hammond, Ms. Pinto, Mr. Walsh, Mrs. Guerin, Mr. Akatis, Mr. Duggan, and Mr. Flynn. A big thank you as well goes out to Mr. Cohen, Mr. Zhao, Mr. Gallo, and again, the incomparable Mr. Akatis, for helping to choose today's honorees. As well, thank you to Mrs. Selekia Perrone for the beautiful mosaic that you see here on stage. And thank you to all the students who submitted the Martin Luther King extra credit assignment. You all did a great job. The students who will take the stage today are speaking because their submissions to the extra credit assignment were chosen as exemplary. When our students take the stage today, they will be speaking from the same spot as Dr. Martin Luther King when he spoke on this very stage on March 27th of 1968. Yes, that's right. For anyone who didn't know, Dr. King spoke right here on this very stage. Here we see Dr. King pictured with Reverend Morgan M. Days and the then Mayor of Rockville Center, Robert Anderson. When Dr. King spoke at what was then Southside Junior High School, he emphasized the need for all races to come together and work towards what America stands for: democracy, equality, and education. Today, the students who you will hear speak will address an issue in the community that they would like to see improved. They will explain what service or action can be taken to help improve this issue and change society for the better. And they will explain what they think Dr. King would have done or said about this issue if he were still with us today. As your classmates speak, please stay quiet, sit up straight, and show enthusiasm for their hard work when they have finished speaking. It takes a lot of bravery to stand up here and speak on this stage. So please, show them the proper respect. Now, let's hear from today's speakers. First up, Rachel Dryden.
The Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America gives citizens the right to bear arms to protect themselves and their families. While I understand the original reason for this cause, the use of firearms has become so rampant in the USA that I think it's time for it to be seriously taken under consideration. Since the Columbine school shooting in 1999, there have been 392 school shootings. More than 300,000 children have experienced gun violence in their school. Given the aforementioned evidence that I intend to provide, I stand resolute the beliefs that guns should be banned for the sake of children in the United States of America. Why is it that in China, their biggest school violence was 6 kids got stabbed and died, but in America, our biggest school shooting, 33 kids were killed? Why are Americans allowed to bear arms, which is a gun, and this needs to stop? I'm a 6th grader, and I'm still scared to know if my school will be next. Kids are scared to go to school because of all the stories like Robb Elementary School. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Principle 5 of nonviolence was choosing love instead of hate. Martin Luther King would hate to see the poor kids dying for no reason. This is why gun violence is so prevalent in America. Guns need to be banned for the children's sake. Guns are legal in the USA. And in New York, there are bad things happening. According to Sandy Hook Promise, each day 12 kids die of gun-related deaths. That is very sad. We just sit around and let it happen. It is not fair for the trauma the kids go through and the parents who will ever hurt knowing their kids were killed for no reason. This needs to stop. We have to elect people who care about the children's safety, and hopefully they can get the Supreme Court to overturn the law. Next up, spirit.
An issue I would like to see improved in this country is animal testing. A majority of cosmetic brands, including Dior, Chanel, CeraVe, Aveeno, and NARS, use animal testing as a way to test new products if they're safe for humans. Most people don't think much of it, but it's actually really sad. Innocent animals such as rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, rats, and mice have to go through a torturous process of shots and testing. According to the article, Advantages and Disadvantages of Animal Testing by Maura Shannon, the text stated, each year, reports Santa Clara University, approximately 20 million animals are used in medical experiments or to test products, many of them dying in the process. I think that animal testing is absurd and horrible way to test products. In order to improve animal testing, an action I would like to see is boycotting. The way I can boycott is not buying products from brands that test on animals. I know that it won't do much with only one person boycotting over millions that buy from these brands, so I thought of 2 ways to communicate my ideas with others. The first idea is that I could put flyers around my town saying that animal testing is bad and others should join too. The second idea is posting on social media about how others should join the boycott for the well-being of animals. From MLK's 6 steps of nonviolence change, I use information gathering and directing action when boycotting. When I use the step information gathering, I research to see what brand animal tests and which don't when reading the flyers for the boycott. When I use the step direct action, I will create a conflict/tension when I would start the boycott. If my plan is successful, then I hope that these cosmetic companies will lose business from animal testing. They would then discontinue their policies of animal testing and as a result of losses from boycotting. I think that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would agree with my thoughts on animal testing. I think this because, according to azquotes.com, Dr. King once said, never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if it's for the well-being of a person or animals at stake. This shows that he cares for both people and animals. Furthermore, azquotes.com illustrates that MLK once said, one day the absurdity of animals, universal human belief in slavery of other animals will be palpable. This quote demonstrates that MLK doesn't stand for any animal cruelty or slavery. When King said his fundamental philosophy of nonviolence, he stated, nonviolence resists violence of the spirits as the well-being of the body. This word suggests that you should never create violence towards the body of the soul or any person or animal. Cosmetic brands have to come up with other alternatives to their animal testing products while being completely cruelty-free. According to humansociety.org, brands test their products by using human-based cell tests and computer models. They come out to be more accurate, faster, and aren't as costly compared to testing on animals. Next is Juliana.
On March 1st, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. stood on the exact same stage I am standing on today. I am honored to deliver to all of you a message of hope, courage, and dignity, just like he did 55 years ago to our community. 1 month later, after addressing the members of our town, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. He died with a vision and a mission that will forever resonate in our lives. We owe it to him to come together and live his dream of being united. If Martin Luther King were to address an issue that is still occurring today, I believe he would be at the forefront to addressing bullying. He once said, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. This issue is an issue that should matter to all of us, and he wouldn't want anyone to be suffering in silence. Today, bullying continues beyond the school day and happens constantly because it's easier to hide behind a screen. Although we try to do so much at our school to prevent it, studies show that 70.6% of students still report seeing bullying that occurs at their schools. That means approximately 7 out of 10 of us in this room have witnessed some form of bullying. So why be silent? In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King would certainly advocate for students acknowledging when someone is being bullied. It's our job to come together and put an end to it. We must choose love instead of hate. Martin Luther King Jr. advocated to be spontaneous, unselfish, and creative. If more students followed this philosophy by spreading kindness and love, we could change the mindset that being mean does not give you power. I believe he would be able to give us courage and confidence to make better choices. We can do this by talking about it, building a safe school environment, and recognizing and celebrating kindness. Together, we can be united. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, the time is always right to do what is right, and our time is right now. Next up is Kate S.
Unhealthy drugs should be illegal. Do you know the song is about? Well, if you listen closely, you'll realize it's about drug addiction. The last lyrics of the song, Joe, you could check out anytime, but you could never leave. Meaning you could start using drugs, however, you would never stop. I have a dream that one day the world will stop using and selling drugs that can be super harmful and uncomfortable towards people. Horrible things may happen because of drug use, like not wanting to be around you, cancer, which can lead to death, and so much more. Here's why drugs
Get your book
that
bag
are
off the
bad
floor.
for
You
you.
should want to flip over. Put it in front
Many
of you
deaths
when
have
you do
come
it.
from cancer.
Between your
The
legs.
big type of cancer people get is lung cancer. This is a kind of cancer that doesn't come out of the blood. It comes from drugs. There are some people that sell drugs and basically kill people or cause them to be weak and skinny to the point where they can't live on their own any longer. The longer drugstores stay in business, the longer people stay addicted to drugs. And if you're addicted to drugs, then there's almost no way you could stop. If drugs were legal, there would be less patients fighting for their lives because of lung cancer, and there would be less of a rush to the ambulance or hospital from overdosing. More people will be able to live happy and healthy lives with their loved ones if we enforce laws that unhealthy and overusing drugs should be illegal. Additionally, in lots of cities in the U.S., including Manhattan, all you can smell is cigarettes, vapes, and cigars filling the air. Do you really want to smell that every time I step foot outside? Because I know I don't. It's disgusting to the people that are walking in front of you, and personally, I like to hold my breath. When you look down, all you can see is crushed drugs by people
Sit in there.
around every corner. There's buses coming at your face. Not only is it the people that smoke get lung cancer. If you walk in the city every day, you're a drug addict. You could take too much carbon dioxide in. Why can't we just keep our city nice and clean instead of trashing it? People that smoke or do drugs on the streets make people like me not want to be there. I sometimes feel bad, but strangers that are drug addicts could hurt you. You'll never know what to act or do to people around you. Some drug addicts could be dangerous and attack you. Drugs could cause people to have mental illness or become antisocial. 1 second they could be so sweet, but their emotions could change quickly. When people on drugs flip out at you, they could try to hurt or even scream at you if you didn't do or say anything. Also, I get frightened when I see drugs being sold. People selling drugs try and get money off bad addictions that could cause death. They know the consequences of what could happen to the people that they're selling it to. But drug dealers crave money more than they care about people's mental and physical health. Together, we could take action to solve this issue. People could put signs that say, stop smoking or say no drugs. This will create awareness for what drugs could do. Yeah. We could create more no-smoking zones in our community and stop drugstores from opening. This could help people stay less addicted to their drugs or stop hurting their own bodies. Also, we could have more town activities like yoga so people could relax and find a hobby for themselves instead of smoking and taking unhealthy drugs that could actively kill themselves. People will have their minds looking towards getting better at their hobby, and they won't think about when's the next time I could go smoke or do drugs. Martin Luther King would want to create a law to make all unhealthy drugs illegal. One of his philosophies is that nonviolence holds that unearned voluntarily suffering for a just cause can educate and transform people and societies. He would want this because everyone would be more safe from harm. He
doesn't want innocent people to be attacked or for people to die from drug addiction. MLK was all about peace and nonviolence protests, so I believe he would stand up for this major issue. Something that he would maybe do is stand in front of a drugstore that's being built and block builders from building it. He would get people to join peaceful protests until the construction stops. As Martin Luther King would say, I have a dream that one day this nation will stop using and selling unhealthy drugs that are harmful towards yourself and other people. Next up is
There has been an uproar because books are being banned in different school districts throughout the USA, a country whose foundation is based on the freedom of speech. Many influential and award-winning children's books are now being deemed inappropriate and unsuitable for school-aged children. There are a lot of banned books, many of which you have most likely read. For example, the famous book Charlotte's Web is being banned from many school districts and libraries because some people believe the talking animals in it are disrespectful to God. Other books also being banned for religious reasons are all the Harry Potter books and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. While it is appropriate for you to prevent your child from reading certain books because of your religious beliefs, you should not have the right to prevent all children from enjoying them. Restricting others with different religious beliefs is fundamentally unjust. There are tons of books being banned for outrageous reasons. An example of this is the book Captain Underpants by David Clic. This is an extremely popular book series that many children adore, but some parents believe it encourages disobedience and should be banned. The Giver by Lois Lowry is also being banned because some parents think it has too much violence and find the themes disturbing to young children. While the theme of the book might not be suitable for younger children, more mature children could use it to better understand the results of their decisions in life. Books that introduce kids to difficult historical topics like slavery and war are being banned. Examples of this are the historic books Sold by Patricia McCormick and the autobiography Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, which are being banned for being explicit, but whose honest depictions of historical events need to be told. Taking away the opportunity for children to learn about history is terrible. Pieces of history are being unjustly erased from classrooms throughout the country. Banning books has gotten out of control. I want to right the injustices caused by school districts banning books. To stop more books from getting banned, I will protest for famous book clubs like Oprah Winfrey's Book Club to read a banned book. I can protest this by signing petitions and making videos or websites that will encourage these book clubs to take action against the bans. This will allow children to read books that were staples of many people's childhoods, but are now being taken away. Books that parents think will cause them to be disobedient, even though there is no evidence that supports their claim, will be allowed for children to read. Children will be able to read pieces of history and learn about the past. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was alive today, he would lead protests against books being banned. He would follow his third principle of the fundamental philosophy of nonviolence, which states, nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice or evil, not people. Dr. King would speak out against the unjust book banning, but not in a violent manner. He would not hurt the people who support the bans, but would protest against the banned books, not the people doing it. And next up is Mara.
One issue that I believe MLK would disapprove of if he was still alive is world hunger and food insecurity. Food insecurity isn't just something that happens in your community. It's something that is occurring globally. Improving an issue such as food insecurity would have a significant impact on the families who are struggling to feed themselves. Statistics show that food insecurity is affecting about 828 million people today, and the global hunger index is 18.3, which is a sharp incline from previous years. Roughly 10% of the world is suffering from this frightening matter and has a shortage of food in their home. In addition, not eating enough food can greatly affect your health and energy levels. Especially as a kid, eating food is very important to help you grow and function well and can lead to major health issues in the future if you don't. No one should have to suffer from something like this when there are plenty of solutions and people to help stop this. MLK would have believed that there would be hope and opportunity to stop food insecurity. There are countless reasons and reachable solutions to help resolve this issue before the whole world goes hungry. First of all, we can do small things like giving homeless people living on the streets money or volunteering in soup kitchens, like giving someone less fortunate food could make their day, because you never know what goes on in someone else's life, and one thing can make a huge impact. A wise person once said, empathy is not related to an experience, it's connecting to what someone is feeling about an experience. Green Brown. This quote is restating the fact that if we show more empathy, our world would be a better and stronger place, and that empathy is an effective method to see how other people are struggling. We can also spread awareness about this issue around town, or even to someone bigger, like the mayor or president. I promise that I will also participate in these actions of service to help resolve this global occurrence. Doing these actions will help shape our society into a better and safer place. Dr. MLK would have stopped this if he knew it was affecting our society and would have tried numerous ways to solve this issue. He himself held true to the fact that nonviolence holds that unearned suffering for a cause is redemptive and has tremendous educational transforming possibilities. From Dr. King's fundamental philosophy of nonviolence. Additionally, out of his 6 steps of nonviolent social change, the 5th step, direct action, would be the most effective in this situation. I would guarantee that MLK would have made a speech or of them a direct action service to feed these starving children and families. MLK has made previous speeches, such as I Have a Dream, about racial discrimination and other inequalities, so I can clearly visualize him providing another one about food insecurity if he were still alive. I believe that MLK would have raised money for these families, spread awareness, personally sacrificed himself, and more. MLK had a tough childhood himself, so I can imagine him wanting others to not experience or go through that. There are many ways he could have gone about this issue. In conclusion, food insecurity is a persistent problem that needs to be addressed and is greatly affecting our country. Next up is Kate C.
Cyberbullying should be stopped. Have you ever scrolled on a social media page and a video comes up and you see that video and it says, I hate this person and this person is so annoying? This happened to me just a couple of days ago. This is not the right behavior and it is just plain rude. How would a video like this make you feel? That's why I think cyberbullying should come to an end. Cyberbullying is a serious problem. It can make or break how you feel about yourself. Most humans have been through this many times, and now it's getting to the point where people are getting used to this type of bullying, and that is so terrible. Lots of people have tried to put an end to this, but unfortunately we cannot control what people put online. Online is really tricky. If you post something on the internet, it will be there forever. You can screen record any video you want and keep a video forever, and even when you delete it. Picture this, you post a really mean TikTok in 6th grade, and now you're going to college on a scholarship, and you get sent that video anonymously, and it gets sent to your college, and they remove you from your scholarship. How would that make you feel? This is an example of staying online forever, so be careful on what you post. A way I would put a stop to cyberbullying is maybe starting a club to stop this type of bullying. I could put posters up saying, no more bullying. Lastly, I can speak to a group of people and talk about how cyberbullying is really bad. Making a change can change someone's life. If Martin Luther King was alive today and was hearing about this, what bullying has done to this country, he would most likely make a speech. Dr. King might go and speak to schools like he did with segregation. He even spoke to Southside Middle School just a couple of weeks before he passed away. If there would be someone to stop online bullying, it would be Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolence chooses love against hate. Nonviolence resists. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of peace and did not think violence was the answer to any problem. If he were alive today, he would want to put a stop to cyberbullying. Sadly, he tragically passed away by being assassinated. He never gave up on what he believed in. Even when he went to jail, he still fought for his rights. That's why I think cyberbullying should come to an end. Next up is Charlotte.
Being homeless
homeless as having no home or permanent place of residence. I can take many actions to prevent homelessness. One that I will take is donating supplies and toiletries to the SAD Club at Southside Middle School, which I am a part of. Right now, they are hosting a food drive to give to those in need during the holiday season. I will also encourage others to donate. We always think about what people get during the holidays, but not really about others. During this time of year, it's supposed to be about what you get. It's not supposed to be about what you get. It's supposed to be about giving. Even just giving a can of beans or some shampoo, it can make a big impact on homelessness in the future. This is why I will donate supplies to those in need. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted no one to be judged regardless of the way you look, your race, ethnicity, etc. I think that if he were still alive today, he would have a problem with the way we are dealing with this conflict. People judge the homeless all the time, not even knowing who they are. I think Martin Luther King Jr. would give many speeches about being homeless, and he would try to get as many people as possible to help out with this enduring issue. He might give out food, donate to shelters, or even just have a conversation with a homeless person. Martin Luther King Jr. is very well known, so most likely he will listen and change the way they think about this problem. This is what I believe Martin Luther King would do if he was still alive today. Principle 5 of the fundamental philosophy of nonviolence states that nonviolence uses love instead of hate. We need to accept that some people don't have as much as we do, like a place to live. Instead of doing nothing or making fun of them, let's walk a mile in their shoes and try to understand their situation. The thing is, they might not even have these shoes because they can't afford them. Homeless people are just human beings, just like us, and we all have problems in our life, but they just need a little more help. We have to realize that people are living on the streets with nothing. There's only one way to help them get back on their feet, and that is helping others. Giving shows even more care to those in need. King's fundamental philosophy of nonviolence states that nonviolence chooses love over hate. This connects to homelessness. Some ideas to prevent homelessness are donating supplies and or toiletries to a food drive, spending your time at a homeless shelter, volunteering at a food pantry, donating money to those in need, going around a busy place like the city and giving out food or supplies face-to-face with a homeless person, go to a giving tree or angel tree and buy something for a child in need, and adopt a family. I hope you care about homelessness as much as me and Martin Luther King and I will. If you can take these ideas to prevent homelessness into consideration, it would make such a big difference to help SAD Club or any other nonprofit organization take a stand to give to those in need. Be grateful for all you have, and keep in mind that not everyone is as fortunate as us. Thank you. Next up is Nikki.
Hello, I am Nikki Juman. I am in 8th grade. I am happy to be chosen as one of the honorees. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the historical figures whom I admire because he spoke profoundly, encouraging citizens to stand up for their rights. He was someone who didn't believe in violence, but in peace. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the pioneers who pursued the goal of ending segregation and racism. He gave people hope and courage to stand up for their freedom. Martin Luther King Jr. taught people to look deep inside of others and realize their true character before judging them. A person's character or personality and intelligence will tell you more about that person than the color of their skin. Martin Luther King Jr. was a worthy and outstanding man who sought out his dreams, and I will always remember him. He once said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." Thank you. Next up is Sydney.
Division. By the title of this essay, you might have thought that I really don't like math and just want to get rid of division. Yet this type of division doesn't consist of carrying the one or dragging down the two. This division is far more complicated. Picture this. You walk into the Southside cafeteria when it's time for lunch. You see 6 tables. The girls are sitting at one table, boys are sitting at another. People who like video games are sitting in the back of the room next to the people who like to draw. Students of one race are sitting with each other and vice versa. This is division. Division is a problem seen all over the world, in schools and just in life in general. Not only does this make people feel less than others when they can't sit with the sporty kids at lunch or when they're left out because of their skin color, but it also makes the school/world look stereotypical. Stereotypes differentiating where people stand in the world is not okay, and we need to realize that. To fix this problem, we must normalize getting to know people that we might not talk to as much. Go sit with someone new at lunch. Who knows, you might have more in common with them than you think. Plus, it will put a smile on someone's face. I believe that if MLK was still here, he wouldn't only take a stand for this problem like he did in 1963, but he would also find a way to solve it. Maybe he would make a speech or model the type of behavior he wanted people to follow. In 1968, MLK came to this very school. Imagine he was still here today and came to visit Southside. He would walk into the cafeteria just to see the problem that he fought his whole life to stop, right in front of his eyes. He would be disappointed in us. Dr. King dedicated his whole life to combating racial division, and there's much more work to be done in our modern world. In today's society, people are divided by not only lines of race, but gender, sexuality, religious beliefs, socioeconomic status, political views, and much more. Finding ways for all people to feel a sense of belonging will make us stronger as a community. Dr. King once said, "I am convinced that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. And they don't know each other because they don't communicate with each other. And they don't communicate with each other because they are separated from each other. This is why, rather than being separated or divided, we must strive to come together because the whole is greater than the sum of its parts." Principle 1, nonviolence seeks to win friendship and understanding. Next up is Josh.
Lead by an example is what MLK would say, don't be a person who leads others astray. Crushing someone's spirit is like taking their breath, turning them down can feel very close to death. Stand up for people who think they have no voice. Lend a helping hand, therefore they have a choice. When someone is hurt by the words of others, intervene, show love, and help them recover. Bullying is an option, but never has to be the answer. We don't want it to keep growing as it is some type of cancer. Stop the hurt, jealousy, violence, and pain. Exhibit kindness, tolerance, empathy to create an unbreakable chain. Bullying is a cycle like a merry-go-round. We all want it to stop because it beats people to the ground. Hurt people, so let's stop the domino effect. Be compassionate, especially to those we want to protect. Lead by an example is what MLK would say. Be gentle and courageous in every single way. A love-filled community is what MLK desired. Live by the good rule and must be inspired. And now back to Mr. Rosenberg.
Let's keep it going one more time for all those speeches today, guys. Come on. That was phenomenal. Think about all that bravery and all that stuff today. As we go about our day today, number one, if you see any of these individuals in the hallways or in your classes, celebrate them. Tell them how great they were. Make them feel great because what they did today was amazing, and we should all be very, very proud of their efforts. Not only that, but as you go about your day today, as you go about your 3-day weekend, please keep the principles of nonviolence in mind. Please think about Dr. King's message. To further enforce that in your social studies classes today, everyone's going to get a sticker with the statement, "The time is always right to do what is right." As a Southside Middle School community, let's really make that a part of who we are. Let's do the right thing because it is the right thing to do.